So, we just got more information on the upcoming banners, and a few things have changed since the last time, which is why we need to talk right now. The next few versions are starting to show a real pattern, and it is getting harder to tell what is an actual rerun window and what is just random noise flying around. And the scary part is, we are already feeling that Snezhnaya is getting closer energy, where even small roadmap shifts can completely change what you want to save for. Right now we are in Phase 1 of version 6.4, but what matters for planning is what happens next, because Phase 2 is basically already on the calendar. Phase 2 of 6.4 is going to be Skirk and Escoffier, with the 4 stars being Charlotte, Candace, and Dahlia. Now let's talk about version 6.5, because this is where the roadmap actually starts to feel real. The big debut is Linnea. She is expected to be a 5-star Geo-Bao user, and everything about her screams lunar crystallized support. She brings healing, she brings off-field value, and she looks designed to sit behind your carry and make every Z-Bai team hit harder and more consistently. For reruns in 6.5, the current leak bundle points to Chaska, Nefer, and Llama. Llama is the face of Lunar Bloom support, and Nefer is one of the most threatening damage dealers you can build around if you commit to her teams. The important nuance is that Nefer is still strong on her own, but her full potential is tied to the systems around her, especially Ascendant Gleam scaling and having the right Nod Cry pieces. So if you were one of the people who skipped Llama and then later realized, wait, this is actually the glue, 6.5 could be your correction patch. Chaska is a different vibe, more of an Anemo damage dealer with an easy and fun playstyle and great overworld comfort. She is the kind of rerun that becomes really tempting if your account wants a simple, comfortable carry without needing a super strict team. The phase order for 6.5 is still not confirmed, so do not tattoo this onto your arm, but my personal guess stays the same. Linnea and Chaska in Phase 1, then Nefer and Llama in Phase 2. The logic is pretty simple. If Linnea is a new shiny support, she sells best when she is paired with a banner that appeals to a wider group, and Chaska fits that bill. Then you put Nefer and Llama together because their synergy is a selling point by itself. Again, not confirmed, just the cleanest, this makes sense setup. Now version 6.6 is where things get messy, because this is the part of the roadmap that keeps changing every time new info drops. We are expecting Nicole to debut here, and the problem is that her kit has been described in so many different ways that it is honestly not safe to lock expectations. The leaks point toward her buffs being more limited at baseline, and that some of her bigger value might be pushed into constellations. But at the same time, her base kit is still described as having really strong off-field damage, which is a weird combo. Not a full buff monster at base, but still a real contributor to team damage. That kind of design can end up being stronger than it sounds, because off-field damage never stops being useful, and it makes rotations feel smoother. And this is where Varka enters the chat. Multiple leaks keep hinting that Varka is one of her best, or even optimal, partners. That makes sense cause her value scales with Hexerai-style setups. So if you already pulled Varka, Nicole might not just be another pyro unit, she might be a puzzle piece that makes those Varka teams click way harder than expected. The other major 6.6 headline is Lehen. He is expected to debut here and then get added to the standard Banner 1 version later, so if you are a free-to-play player, think twice before you go deep on his debut banner. If you love him, pull him, that is always valid. But if you are pulling purely for value, you need to remember that losing a 50-50 later could randomly hand you Lehen anyway. Right now we know basically nothing about his kit, except that he is a cryo polearm user. That is not enough to judge strength, but it is enough to know he is not the main, must-plan piece yet. For reruns in 6.6, Mavwika could show up here, and Durin is also a very clean candidate if the version leans into Hexencircle themes again. Durin also matches really well with teams that want flexible off-field damage and buff value, and if Nicole ends up liking Varka teams, then Durin fitting into that general space would make the patch feel very intentional. And that brings us to 6.7, which is where Sandrone is expected to debut. The newest angle people are pushing is that she is not Geo like many expected, and instead she is tied to a revived, mutated superconduct-style reaction direction. That is honestly very on brand for how Genshin has been moving lately. They keep taking reactions that were kind of dead in meta terms, and then injecting a new system or a new unit that makes them matter again. Lunar Charge did that for Electrocharge style teams. Lunar Crystallize is doing that for Geo. So the idea of Sandrone doing that for Superconduct is not even that crazy. If she really introduces a new way to make Cryo plus Electro teams actually worth building again, then you can already guess what comes next. Raiden Shogun becomes a super likely rerun candidate around that window. Because if the new system wants fast Electro application and consistent triggers, Raiden is one of the easiest ways to deliver that. On top of that, Columbina rerunning in 6.7 is still the most consistent prediction you can make, because she basically functions like the Archon slot of Nod Cry. These Archon-like units almost always come back 3 to 4 patches after debut, and 6.7 is right in that window. So if you skipped Columbina earlier thinking, I'll just grab her later, 6.7 is exactly the kind of patch where that later might happen, and you will still be fighting your Primo Gem budget. Then we get to 6.8, and honestly, the info there is foggy. It is the big summer event style patch, so a lot of reruns can be tied to the event cast, and it often acts like a bridge into the next nation. That is why I would treat 6.8 like a buffer patch. Important for saving, important for setup, but not something you can predict with confidence this early. And speaking of the next nation, version 7.0 is where Snezhnaya is expected to begin. Everything here is super speculative, but you can usually expect a new region to open with at least one big new face that sets the tone, like a Fatui or a major local character. And then there is the question everyone keeps asking, where is Alice? She is not coming in the 6.x cycle for Nod Cry. That much is basically the community's expectation at this point. But it is still possible we see her in early Snezhnaya because her story is way bigger than to squeeze into the remaining Nod Cry window. Still, that is pure speculation, so do not plan your Primo Gems like it is guaranteed. So that is the updated roadmap as of right now. The safest banner predictions are still 6.5, because we have the clearest package there with Linnea plus 3 reruns being repeated across sources. Everything after that can change fast, and it has changed fast before, so keep that mindset. Leaks are just leaks, not a promise. And by the way, thank you everyone, we finally hit 19,000 subs. That is actually insane. Next stop is 20,000, and it would be massive if we hit it soon, so if you enjoy these roadmap updates and you do not want to miss codes and quick banner changes, a sub really helps more than you think. Let me know in the comments what you are doing right now. Are you pulling in Phase 2 of 6.4 for Skirk and Escoffier, or are you already saving for Linnea and the 6.5 wave? And also tell me one name, Sandrone. Are you hyped? Or are you scared they really make Superconduct the next big thing? Thanks for watching, good luck with your wishes, and I will see you in the next one.